Ladies and gentlemen, Blood of Dawnwalker just had its first showcase, showing off some brand new gameplay, and what we received looked very promising for it just being in its pre-beta stages. We've been following this game for a while on this channel, so if you're interested and are looking for more of a full overview about it, feel free to check out the video popping up on your screen. But let's get into the highlights and what we received from this very interesting vampire dark fantasy RPG. So this gameplay reveal that Rebel Wolves put out is clearly taking a lot of inspiration from The Witcher. And this makes even more sense since the studio is made up of ex-CDPR devs, and it certainly shows. There's clearly plenty more work to come, as people already pointed out some of the potential issues that need to be addressed, like graphics needing to be a little bit more polished, the camera positioning, and how combat is going to be feeling, as it seems to be more on the stiffer side, but nothing over the top or game breaking. But a quick overview so that everybody's on the same page. This game puts us in a role of a half vampire, where at night we're granted full vampiric abilities, but during the day we're brought back to our regular human form, being limited to the skills that we have access to. We travel throughout this community called Vale Sangora, trying to stop the humans from being slaughtered like cattle from these vampires that are rising to power. Now this entire game takes place over about a month of game time, so we have about 30 days to affect this world and make the changes for the better. We did know about this already, as the devs spoke about it and revealed it in the last trailer. It's just a very weird take that I have kind of mixed feelings about, but it's definitely going to be a core game mechanic, and only when you participate in quests will time pass. The devs stated you could look at the time system more of like a resource rather than using it like you would a regular clock. Other than completing these quests, time will completely stand still, so you're able to explore at your own pace and take part in events that would otherwise change the pathing you would take to progress the main story. The hope with this is that it results in a different and unique experience for everyone, since the side quests and the areas you decide to invade, like vampiric hideouts or fortresses, will all circle back to what's available on your route throughout this time period, and this should give us some solid replayability. Me personally, I think this is a very interesting idea. They have something completely different in mind here, but it's simply going to come down to how this really affects the world and if the changes are big enough to warrant that second or third playthrough. Now, a big piece that they showed off is a lot of the open world, with of course a lot of side quests. We were shown different events that pop up as you're passing through the world. Random encounters will take place, while the day and night cycle will consistently be having the world change around you. The changes that you're going to be noticing right away is in your abilities to freely traverse the world around you, because the more you start to fight these vampiric enemies, the more the people of the community will start to see you as their enemy. You see, these people worship these vampires like it's their religion, and the more we fight these vampires, the more the community is going to start to get mad at you. You do have the option to go through this world in more of a low profile type of way, but if you don't, the world is going to become increasingly more hostile, with guards being more aware of your presence and attacking you on sight, to setting up checkpoints along the road and all that good stuff. And that leads us right into the combat, since that's going to be playing a pretty big role in all of this. And this can be split between human and vampiric fights and abilities. They did show their progression system and how you're going to be leveling, as you're going to have a few different types of talent trees to choose from, whether you're going to embrace your vampiric side, going fully into those vampiric abilities, or you'll be staying more on the human side. And then there's one that is clearly more of a shared tree. There's also a fourth one, but it looks to be more separated from the rest, and it's a tree that gives you different abilities to utilize, whether in combat or for traversal. Something to note here is that you will have magic available to you, but it's going to be at the cost of your health, since you're essentially a blood mage, eating away at your health every time you cast a spell, in typical vampire fashion. The core combat flow we're dealing with here is directional, specifically top, left, right, and bottom, so you're going to have to block, parry attacks, and deal with what's being thrown at you appropriately. While you're dealing with this, you're going to be charging up those abilities to use some of your magic or powers you have at your disposal on your end. Now, that vampire form of yours at night will grant you traversal options, allowing you to essentially teleport in a cloud of smoke across building tops and certain distances. You're going to have overall heightened senses, being able to just walk across walls, and this transitions into the combat, giving you access to claws as weapons. But they did say you do still have the option to use swords as well while in this form. Now, a very interesting piece to this game is how they're actually going about handling this hunger mechanic, because you're going to start off majority, if not all your nights, very hungry, which means your health is going to be low, and we're going to need to deal with that by feeding. So they pointed out you're able to feed on pretty much any NPC in the game, which of course means you're going to have some potentially serious repercussions. So that I'm a big fan of. The thought of accidentally knocking out potential side quests and important story NPCs that will directly affect your playthrough, that's going to lead to some very different experiences for everyone. So with the combat looking solid, but nothing that's like groundbreaking, the talent trees look intriguing, and hopefully provide us enough to give us some actual diversity. The main thing I'm going to be looking for out of all this is how much this world changes due to the decisions that each of us makes, and how many different playthroughs will be possible for each of us. Hopefully they all just lead up to their own unique circumstances and outcomes, or it'll all just funnel back into the main story, not giving the world the effect I'm looking for. Is this shaping up to be the game that you're hoping for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. By the way, I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and over the weekends, so feel free to stop by and hang out. And if you're looking for something else to do, check out some of these other videos coming up on your screen next. Toodles!